everybody, Crystal again at Lone Star Planner Girl. I am just going to run through really quickly my daily setup. This won't really be a full-on plan with me since I use this more to write down the previous night what I'm going to do the next day, but I'll at least show you my setup. It was a little bit too long, as usual, to add to the weekly setup video. So I really liked how this turned out, so I'm going to stick with that for now. And I think I really did. It worked for me. It made the whole daily pages just that little bit extra functional for me. So I am just gonna stick with that. And yeah. So all I'm doing is laying these down at the bottom and then dropping a couple of checklists down. This is mainly what I use it for, honestly, is the just a daily sort of task list tracker thing. So having all of the checklists available is quite useful. And that's all. I mean, we're gonna go with this one next. I tell you, it's just because my husband's been out of town. My brain is gone, just gone. And it is almost nap time. Can you tell? I can. I don't know about you, if you have children, mine always get louder when they need to sleep. It's like their volume control disappears the more tired they get. And I don't know if that's just universal children or if it's mine specifically that I'm oh so lucky to have that experience. But I mean, not necessarily cranky loud, although sometimes, yes, absolutely. It's just loud. Happy, sad, mad, whatever, just loud. It's always a good indication to me that it is about time for a nap. And what's funny is I have two total opposite sleeping children. My son, when he was born, partly due just to personality, and partly because of some reflux and dairy allergy issues, would not sleep for more than 45 minutes at a stretch, even as a newborn. And that continued for the first 18 months of his life. At which point, we finally got him sleeping through the night, but he still, at that point, had dropped all naps. So it was sort of a lose-lose situation, if you will. But what was I saying? I don't even know. Oh yeah, my daughter, when she was born, was one of those newborns that slept like 23.5 hours a day. I had to fight to keep her awake for feedings, and she was just a really sleepy, really happy, really content baby. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know how much of it she really was. I mean, because obviously her grandparents are biased and think their grandchildren are like the most perfect grandchildren in the world, which is as it should be. But I honestly don't know sometimes how much I can trust their recollections of having infants, just because they're, you know, sometimes a little, I forgot to do this. No, I didn't. I did it right. She was really just such a laid-back baby. And it could be in part that I feel that way because of how difficult my son was and how we struggled so much with sleeping and reflux and dairy allergies, and the fact that he was my, goodness gracious, the fact that he was my first child. And we were a little bit older when we became parents. We dealt with some infertility, and we actually tried for 7 years to have children before we were finally able to conceive our son. And so, you know, I'm sure all of that played somewhat of a role in how difficult we found him as an infant. But he really was, now having had much more experience as a parent, he really was a difficult baby. My daughter, on the other hand, has always loved sleeping. Never fought it. Has always loved it. And once she was old enough to say night-night, she would actually beg to be put down for a nap. She would always let us know when she was tired. If her behavior didn't, but she usually didn't even let it get that far. I mean, she was never the cranky kid, because she would just go to sleep when she was tired. My son was the one who would fight it tooth and nail until he like passed out, and then he would only sleep long enough to sort of recharge a little bit but still be exhausted. I mean, the kid walked around with like chronic circles under his eyes for the first 3 or 4 years of his life, until he finally got to the age where he actually didn't need that much sleep anymore. But yeah, he dropped all naps by the time he was 18 months old, and just, it was not a fan. And part of it, again, I think it's his personality. Part of it was his reflux and dairy allergy issues. He was in pain a lot. Even on the medication, it helped, but not completely. And he's also ADHD, and so, you know, I'm sure that that played a role in his sleep struggles. But to go from that, and we were almost afraid to have another child just because of how extremely difficult he was, to my daughter, who I actually had to like, oh, yay, my neighbor's mowing the grass. It's a good thing this is about done then, because it's about to get real noisy. So I will sign off. Thank you so much for watching. This is the setup for October the 7th through the 13th, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and we will see you guys next time.
Open up, UOPN.